Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you for tuning into the Doc Lounge podcast. This is going to be a short episode today because we're going to introduce one of our new series. So, my co host today is our podcast director, Heather Lapham.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, Heather does all the behind the scenes of the Doc Lounge. So, if you're interested in being a guest, you're going to be talking to her and working with her. So, she's a big part of why this podcast is going today. So, well, we wanted to dedicate this quick episode to talk about our new series that will be launching in a few days called Crazy Cases. In this series, we will speak with physicians and APPs as they share their firsthand account with some of the most unusual and interesting cases that they have seen throughout their careers.
Yeah, and we use the word crazy in the series title to express the dynamic of the case, so it really has nothing to do with the patient, but rather the chain of events. And obviously, all patient information and names are going to be changed because privacy is of utmost importance both to us and the providers that we talk to. And when we opened ourselves up to explore these cases, we had really no idea what to expect. And so far, we've heard a lot of incredibly diverse stories, and each provider has their own voice, so it makes each episode incredibly unique.
Yeah, and so far, the wide range of case subjects has been anywhere from rare kidney cancers to a pediatrician who had a infant who had these behavioral mysteries, and then we even talked to a doctor recently who was involved with a huge rabies outbreak. So everything in between, really.
So in each episode, the physician will walk us through the symptoms, then to the treatments, and then finally the resolution or cure. So if you're a physician or an advanced practice provider with a crazy case to share, we would really love to hear from you.
So email the Doc Lounge at pacificcompanies.com and share with us your case. And we'll get back to you and schedule a time to get to know you better and see if your case would be a good fit for our series.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to you.
So to kick this off, we're going to give you a quick 5-minute preview of our Crazy Case episode with pediatrician Dr. Natalie Lambajian Drummond. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in and have a great day. Welcome to the Doc Lounge podcast, Crazy Cases series. In this series, we will explore some of the most unusual and interesting cases medicine has ever seen. We will speak with providers of all specialties from all over the nation. We will hear firsthand accounts from symptoms to treatments to cures. So sit back, relax, and let's explore some crazy cases. Today on Crazy Cases, we're talking to Dr. Natalie Lambajian Drummond, aka Dr. Natalie. Dr. Natalie's case involves a 1-year-old baby who is experiencing an unnatural and extreme irritability. And after many tests, Dr. Natalie and her team were at a loss and searching for answers. So let's hear firsthand how the case unfolds by Dr. Natalie herself. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Natalie. So let's start from the beginning. How was this patient presented to you, and what were the initial symptoms? What was going on?
The reason I chose this case actually is because it highlights a couple of common pitfalls and obstacles that pediatricians face on a regular basis. So in this particular case, this was a child who was not known to me. He came to my clinic for a 1-year well child exam. And the child was not very cooperative, was very irritable, just like a lot of 1-year-olds who are in an environment that they are not familiar with. And I had no medical records. The mom had been lost to medical care because of problems with insurance coverage and employment. So there was really nothing, I had really nothing to go on. So we were doing his 1-year well child exam, and she had made a comment about how lately he had been particularly irritable. And he was cutting his 1-year molars, so, we talk about all the different things that could make a child irritable, and, just kind of went through everything. Everything checked out. He was obviously a very difficult exam because he wasn't very cooperative. But to the best of my ability to assess him and what I knew and what I could get from mom, other than this irritability complaint, there were really no other issues. So that's kind of where it started. And then about 2 days later, I got another phone call from her, and she said, he's so irritable, he's hardly sleeping, he's driving us crazy, and we just can't seem to console him. And I said, okay, well, that's not normal. So we need to figure this out. And we talked about, had you given him the ibuprofen for his teeth, or, were there any other symptoms? Was he running a fever? All of these things. Is he pooping? Everything seemed to be checking out. So we brought him back in. He actually saw one of my nurse practitioners who could hardly examine him. But because of this irritability, we wanted to get some blood work, and we wanted to just take a look at a couple things. So we sent him to the emergency room. And in the emergency room, the ER doctor called us and told us the same thing that we were experiencing, which was that he couldn't even hardly get into the exam room without the child having a meltdown. So we said, well, let's just check we'll just get some basic lab work. We'll do a CBC, CMP. We'll check a urine, make sure, he was circumcised. We didn't think he had a UTI, but we checked it. We checked just a KUB of his abdomen to make sure there wasn't any obstruction or anything that was abnormal, and everything came back completely fine. So we were kind of at a loss. We didn't know really what was going on with him. So we sent him home, and we're going to follow up with him a day or two later. He comes back. At this point, mom has dark circles in her eyes. She's hardly slept. This child is so incredibly irritable. And she said that he was refusing. She's like, when he seems like he's drunk, like he's all over the place. And she said, I don't know if it's just because he's really tired, because he hasn't done much sleep, but he just seems like he's walking like he's drunk. So then, of course, I was like, okay, so you can't really check optic discs at this point. I'm trying to look for signs of like increased intracranial pressure. Couldn't really evaluate him for that. So I called the emergency room, kind of told them of this new development, and we decided we were going to do a CAT scan of his head just to make sure that he hadn't fallen, or, that there wasn't a space-occupying lesion that was growing. Mm-hmm. Sent him back to the emergency room, got the CAT scan. CAT scan was completely normal. But at that point, the child was was still so incredibly irritable. The ER doctor's like, what do you want me to do? I can't, in good conscience, send him home again after what we've gone through. So we put him in the hospital, and I thought, okay, well, maybe, the healing touch of my pediatric nurses will be able to get him to get a good night's sleep, and we'll have child life consult. We'll have, we'll be able to just get a better assessment, just being able to kind of watch him and observe him in the hospital. So that's what we did. And the nurses called me. I normally round very early in the morning. I'm usually at the hospital by about 5:30 or 6 in the morning. And they called me at 4 in the morning. They're like, he has not stopped screaming all night. They're like, we don't know what's going on. Can we give him a little something? Can we give him a little touch of Benadryl? Can we do something just to maybe calm him down? And, I'm asking the nurses on their assessment if they could get any localization of anything. And they're like, no, he just basically stands in his crib and screams, and he only wants to be held by his mother. So we didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't know what was going on. I consulted pediatric neurology. I got occupational therapy up there. I had ortho stop by. I'm like, is there a possibility? I'm like, I don't want to necessarily irradiate this child from head to toe, but I'm like, see if we can get another set of hands on him, another set of eyes, and everybody all these different specialties. I had surgery come in to take a look and see if they felt like he might have a surgical abdomen that maybe, or like an intussusception or something we were all at a loss. We didn't know what to do.
All right, well, that was our quick sneak peek of one of our Crazy Cases episodes with Dr. Natalie Lambajian Drummond, board-certified pediatrician. If you want to hear how the case unfolds, check back next week when we launch our first couple episodes of the Crazy Cases series. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we're excited for you guys to check out this new series. Thank you for being loyal listeners. We appreciate all of you, and we hope you have a good day. Bye.